Hey everyone, welcome back to Rugged DIY. I'm Steve Mikulich. Today is March of 2022, and I finally got my workshop built. Now, I've got a lot of work that I have to get done to it, but this has been a project that I've been trying to get done for 2 years now. With all the lockdowns and everything over the last few years, it's just been very difficult to get contractors out here to do the work. But it's done. And now I have all my finish out work that I have to do on the garage. So we're gonna be working on that over the summer. I haven't been posting many videos over the last year, even though I've been working on some projects. The projects I've been working on have just been taking longer than anticipated. A lot of issues, just getting the supplies that I need. And then, you know, the stresses of life and having to do my actual job, which hasn't left me much time over the last year to do as many renovations as I've wanted to do. But I did see that the community is growing. We're now, as of the making of this video, over 260 subscribers. And I really want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching and subscribing to my videos. I do hope that they're helpful and inspiring to those of you who also want to get into doing your own DIY projects. I do have a lot planned for this year. We just bought 13 chickens. And so as soon as I finish this work that I'm going to be working on today, over the next week, I'm going to be building a chicken coop. And we also got 3 geese that'll be here next month. And I need to build a goose house for those as well. We have some landscaping we'll be working on over the year, building new fences and gates. And we're going to be putting a picket fence, just a small picket fence around our garden in the back to keep the chickens and the geese out of our vegetable garden. So that'll be good, and I'll try to do a little more detailed. I see that, you know, my fence video has gotten quite a few views, and so I was thinking on this upcoming fence build that I'll show you kind of the method that I use to get the corner square when you have a post that's going to meet 2 sides of the fence. So I think that might be helpful. I did get some comments from people who wanted to see that. So I'll be able to do that on the small picket fence. The other thing that we're going to be doing, my neighbors are going to let us use a portion of their yard for our chickens and our geese to graze and scratch. And so in exchange for that, I told them that I would do some work on their yard. The plan is to get a water feature in this summer so the geese have somewhere to get wet and dip their heads in, and my neighbors will get the water feature that they've wanted for years. So a lot planned for this year, and hopefully we'll be able to keep up with all that work. Now that we've got the garage built, I'll be able to finish up all the electrical work in my home and progress with a lot of the jobs that have kind of been held up due to the fact that we couldn't get the garage built. Once the garage is built and the rest of the electrical work is established here, we'll be able to change out our tanked hot water heater for a tankless. And I'm also going to put in a whole house water filtration system. Since while I'm on well water, you kind of get that rotten egg smell out of the well sometimes. And so I've got a whole UV system, hard water, large, sediment filters, and all kinds of stuff. So we're going to get that all set up this year as well. But anyway, let's get started on this job. I've got to get some insulation work done and some framing before we get our electric garage door put on this week. So that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to get some insulation up and some framing. All right, we're in the garage now. This is the foam board insulation that I'm going to be putting up. And just to show you real quick. This foam board insulation is faced with an aluminum foil, and this helps to push out or capture the heat as it's coming through the walls and kind of radiate that out, right? Kind of reflect it out. Now, as I'm installing all of this, I'm going to secure it using a construction adhesive. I'll apply the construction adhesive onto the walls themselves, and then I'll just kind of press that into place. I'm going to cut all of this using a jigsaw, and then after everything is put into place, I'll use kind of a foil tape, a duct tape, to seal all of the seams around the structure. And before I put this up, I'm going to go around the door, the opening where I'm going to be applying the insulation today, and I'm going to fill any of these gaps that are open to the exterior with this gap filler. That'll help keep moisture and insects and stuff like that out. and just make this a little bit more sealed off of a structure. Now to attach the 2x6s around the opening, I purchased these, here I'll kind of get up close here. I purchased these screws which have these wings on them. Now these are self-tapping screws for the metal, but these have little wings on them, so as you're screwing into the wood, these wings will open up the wood and make a space for the screw to get to the metal. And then this will tap into the metal, and then you have machine ribbing on this to attach to the metal itself, all right? So I had to special order these. These weren't available at Lowe's or Home Depot. I got these actually off of Amazon. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'll just kind of pause on the video as I'm going through, and if I feel like I need to explain anything that I'm doing, then I'll go ahead and try to capture that stuff as I go. But I'm burning daylight here. I need to get this stuff done. I got a lot to do today. So I'm gonna go and get started and try to burn through this as quickly as possible. Okay, so I've got one panel in. I ended up not needing to use any of the construction adhesive on this because it was such a tight fit. I was able to just squeeze it in there and there's no way it's coming out. I tried to adjust it and move it down because I'm about 1/2 of an inch high on the bottom. And as I was pulling it out, it was so tight that it snapped. So I just decided to leave it where it is. I put it back in, cut that top piece, put it in, and we're done with this. Now, I've got the rest to do around the door. I'm not gonna put all of that in this video because you see what I did here. It's gonna be the same thing there. Since I didn't use any adhesive here, I guess I could shoot at least one panel where I use adhesive so you can see me do that. But I'm not gonna do much more than that because I think, honestly, doing the same task over and over again is just gonna be boring for the video. But I'll go ahead and put that in, and then once I get up the rest of the insulation, I'll bring the video back up when I do the frame around the door. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so I've got this piece put in, and as you saw, I put the construction adhesive on there. That's touching pretty good, and there should be enough contact that it should hold. But at the very top there is a slight gap along the top of that insulation, and that's because the piece that I cut it from, this was the max length I had left on it, and I didn't want to have to waste another piece with an odd cut. So I utilized what I could, and I'm just gonna come in on top of that with a little bit of spray foam once everything's all done and fill in that portion. But I'm not too concerned with that little bit of a gap because the majority is covered up, and that's what's important. So I'm gonna continue on putting up the insulation for the rest of this. I'm not gonna put the rest of that on this video, but I'll pick back up once I get all the insulation up, and then we'll start attaching the frame, the wood frame around the actual door frame here. So I'm gonna get to work on that, and I'll bring you back. I might have to pick up the rest of this tomorrow. Looks like a storm's blowing in. I'm having difficulty with light. There's no power out here right now, and so I'm limited with how much lighting I can add in here. So forgive me if at the end of this, the color is a little bit dark and a little bit difficult to see, but I'm doing the best I can. But anyway, I'll see you in just a minute. Well, everyone, as you can see, the garage door is installed. I was not able to capture the installation of the wood framing. Unfortunately, after I finished filming the first portion of the video, when I was putting everything away, I was not careful with the camera, and I set it down on the tripod. The tripod fell over and crushed my lens. So it's been a week since I started this video. I have the new lens now, but in that time, I had to finish all the work because I had the garage door coming, so I wasn't able to capture that on the video. But as you can see, it is installed, and I love the door. It was a really easy installation. Let me go ahead and close it here. Now, this door actually has a battery backup, so even when the power goes out, the battery will still operate. Right now I don't have it plugged in because I don't have any power established to the garage, so this is running on the battery backup right now. Now the thing that I really like is that it's got the motor assembly on the side of the frame there instead of being an overhead assembly. That way, if I bring something into my shop and I'm working inside this shop, and I got to lift it up on some jacks or something like that, especially my truck, because I've got a taller truck, then I don't have to worry about my truck hitting the motor. So that opened up all of this space. And honestly, the difference between having the side mount motor and the overhead motor was about $200, $250. So it just made sense to me to go with the side mount motor. But you know, I'm very happy to finally have this shop put together. This shop has you know, kind of been the linchpin in the rest of the projects that I've been waiting to get done, because the workshop is part of my building and electrical permit, and I can't do the rest of the electrical work on the inside of the house, to include my whole house hot water heater, tankless hot water heater, my whole house water filtration system, finishing up the drywall that's in my kitchen where the breaker panel is. So all of that has been waiting for this workshop. Now the company that I had hired stopped responding to all of my phone calls and emails. I had been done with my concrete since October of 2021. It is now the end of March of 2022. Since they stopped responding to me, I contacted them and I said, listen, you know, I'm going to give you guys a certain amount of time. If you don't respond, then I'm severing my contract with you. They didn't respond. Now the brokerage company that had set me up with the company that was supposed to come install, I contacted them, informed them of the situation, and just severed my contract with them. They gave me a full refund. And then I contacted Viking Structures, who is another broker for these steel buildings. And I contracted with them. They put me in touch with North Carolina Garage and Carports. And within a month of getting everything set up and showing them that my site was ready, they were out here and installed this workshop in about 4 hours. It was really awesome. So I just want to give a shout out to Viking Structures and North Carolina Garage and Carports, and just say thank you to them for stepping up and getting this done so quickly. The other company I'd like to thank is Encompass. Now, I have a 10-foot by 8-foot door, so it's a custom door. I've reached out to a bunch of garage door vendors in my area, and all of them were telling me it was going to be a 19 or 20-week manufacturing lead time to get my garage. Encompass came out, they said it would be about 8 weeks, and all of the prices were comparable within about $100 of each other. And I went ahead with Encompass. They had the best price, the best lead time. And it turned out that within 1 week of contracting with them, they were already out here and had my door installed. They just so happened to have a 10-foot by 8-foot door exactly in the style that I was looking for, ready to go. So a shout out to Encompass Garage Doors. Really appreciate you guys stepping up as well and helping me out so quickly. All of these companies that I've mentioned were incredibly professional. If you live in the Maryland or East Coast area, I highly suggest if you need a structure or a garage door that you use one of those companies. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. They did not ask me to give them a shout out or to push their products, anything like that. I get no benefit from it. I just want to let you guys know that are watching these videos when I find something good, I want to share that good news with you. But that pretty much wraps up this video since I wasn't able to catch the wood. There is one thing I want to show you though. So I had showed you these specialty screws, if I can get it to focus, with these kind of wings on the side here, right? It was a great idea, and I really like that idea. However, I think that these must have been designed for a much stronger steel than the steel that I used, or that was used on my garage structure. Because when I was drilling these in, this did a great job of creating the pilot hole. These wings did a great job of opening up the space for the screw. However, once these wings made contact with the steel, what ended up happening is that these didn't tear off like they were supposed to, created a larger hole, and then the screw ribbing wasn't able to properly attach to the steel. So what I ended up doing was getting out my hand grinder, grinding off these wings, drilling a pilot hole into the steel, and then driving in the screw. Now these did a fantastic job of attaching and holding a very strong hold. Once I ground off those wings, it just, unfortunately, those wings were just a little bit too strong to be for the proper application here, I guess. But anyway, once I figured that out, the rest of the installation went just fine. Also, while I had the time and I didn't have the camera, I did go around the full structure and I caulked in. I just want to show this as well. I purchased this DAP caulk. It is their ultra clear caulk. Now, I guess this is not a silicone. It doesn't really state what it is. It must be their, kind of manufacturer's secret. But I put this all the way around the exterior, and I put it all the way around the perimeter where the steel meets the concrete. I've had multiple rainstorms since then, and this stuff has done a fantastic job. Really pleased with this product. Again, not sponsored, not asked to do any sort of promotion, just want to let you know, when I find a good product, I want to let you know in case there's something that you're doing where you need something similar. But right after applying this, within a few minutes, it was already pretty much dry to the touch, though, kind of pliable. I didn't go through and smear it all in. I did a nice bead that was just a little bit larger than the seam between the steel and the concrete. I left that kind of beaded seam all the way around, and all of the rainstorms that we've had, this has stood up. It just like it says on it, it maintains its clear kind of look to it. It didn't seem to change color. It looks really nice, and I'm very, very pleased with this, and I highly suggest it. But now that I've got this done, one of my next videos that'll be coming up, I'm going to go ahead and get the epoxy painted down on my concrete floor. That way, once the epoxy dries, I can start moving all my stuff into my garage now. Everything's sitting out of that tent. That tent has been a great temporary structure, but all of the moisture that gets into the ground, it doesn't dry up, so it creates a very humid environment inside of that tent, and all of my tools are starting to rust over, so I need to get all of my stuff inside of my garage. I'm gonna have to spend some time, kind of sanding that down and applying oil to all of my tools to kind of preserve them and make sure that they don't rust any further. Now, the rest of the day, I'm gonna spend working on prepping my wood for my chicken coop. I'll show you here. I have all of these 2x10s that I salvaged from a shed that I had built. I had built a plastic shed that was crushed when a bunch of trees in my yard fell when we had a tornado burst, kind of rip through our neighborhood. But the base that I had built for that shed survived, even after all the trees had fallen on it. So all my wood is still good. So instead of going and buying all new wood for my chicken coop that I'm gonna build, I'm just gonna split all this wood into the sizes that I need and salvage it, and then build my chicken coop and my goose house out of that. So I'm gonna spend the rest of the day cutting this and prepping this and getting all of my cuts prepared. And my next video will be the assembly of the chicken coop that I'm gonna prepare. because I've got little chickens right now that are sitting inside of a little pen that I have inside the house, and they are growing so fast. I'm going to have a home for them very soon. And it's starting to get a little bit warmer, even though it doesn't look like it today. It is getting up into the 50s and 60s now. And so those chickens will be able to come outside and live outside very soon. Anyway, I'm going to get working on this wood. I really appreciate all of you coming and watching my videos. The subscriptions continue to climb, my views are climbing, so I just want to send out a thank you to everybody who's been watching. And I hope that this has been another inspiration for all of you to do your DIY work. And I have a lot of videos that I think will be interesting. Now, if you're interested, go ahead and comment below. Let me know what DIY jobs you are all working on. And you know, talk amongst yourselves. I would certainly love to see you know, what everybody else is doing who's coming and watching my videos. Certainly, I'm still learning a lot, and I'm sure that all of you are as well, which is why you're visiting my videos. So anyway, thank you all so much. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you on the next video.